In Elden Ring, summoning is known as...
If you use summons in Elden Ring, you are trash.
I mean, I guess they're called spirits, but I don't think spirits can summon the wind. Anyway, in this video, I'll be taking 5 major areas of Elden Ring and finding the most powerful summons for each area. Starting in Limgrave, I can only get upgrades within the boundaries of the area until I defeat Godrick and move on to Liurnia. But to make it even more interesting, when I'm fighting one of the 165 bosses in this game, I can only rely on my summons to do damage. Although some ways I can help them could be through healing or some random buff spells. This makes it so my summons are the OP ones, and I'm just sleeping in the corner.
Did someone say sleeping?
So with all that settled, let's see how strong summons can get. Starting out, I chose the Prophet class with the Fanged Impashes as my keepsake. This is because of their insane dodging ability and straight up bleed damage. I also chose the Prophet because it has the highest faith stat, which is useful because it helps me cast better and better faith buffs. Heading into Limgrave, I completely ignored that loser on the horse, which is actually me, and then I teleported straight back to the Church of Ella.
Tarnished, get your bad fucking breath out of my sight right now before I beat your ass.
Anyway, she gave me some wolves and the spirit calling bell, so now I can summon spirits. First, I wanted to test the raw damage on my green demon, so I put them against the Fair Missoula dog. You know what, I didn't expect much, but maybe I should have. They have extremely low health, but their damage is amazing. And did I mention the bleed? After that, I was pretty confident, so I took my wolves into the nearby ruins. Instead, I went up to Rodrika and she gave me the jellyfish summon. And since Margit is right around the corner, I should see how I do, right? This time, I decided to summon Roger since he is a summon, and instead of the wolves, I used the imps because they're bleed. For a moment, this actually kinda worked. We pushed him into the second phase and got 2 bleed procs off, but I definitely need to get stronger. You know what, maybe it's because I've been using animals the whole time. Humans are supposed to be smarter, right? So I picked up the Godrick Soldier Ashes and brought them to Margit. We definitely didn't win, but that was the closest we've ever got. All I need now is just a stronger human. So I went into the Murkwater Catacombs to get Banished Knight Evergaol, my favorite summon in the game. The only real barrier was this guy, which my imps made quick work of. Now, back at Margit with my new summon. Fuck! Yeah, you're dead. Or, I guess I'm dead. You know what, there's gotta be something I'm missing. Something that a little bald man can help me out with. Unfortunately, you can't summon in here because of his plot armor, so I had to kill him manually. And after nearly killing him, I teleported back and bought Margit's Shackle. With this, I sent him straight to the ground, and I used the imps for this fight for the amount of bleed they could get off. Just look at this clip. I don't know if that's luck or skill, but I'll take it. Before heading into Stormvale, I wanted to get one more summon that was even stronger than my boy Evergaol. Inside the Tombsword Catacombs in Weeping Peninsula, I flicked the lever and challenged this giant black guy. This took, no joke, 3 minutes because he was teleporting everywhere. Fortunately, he didn't really attack my summon, and if he did, the damage was insanely low. And from the Cemetery Shade, I pick up Lootle the Headless.
Lootle.
And I brought her straight to Godrick. I forget how I got Nepheli to fight with us, but she's a damn tank. Her and Lootle were picking on this garbage man. I swear it's always the damn airbenders. And in the second phase, we also got a stagger, which is crazy because I'm not doing any damage. Just to show you how strong Nepheli is, my other summon died and she carried me right to the end. No, you're not. In this stage, I used tons of spirits to help me destroy bosses. For my main spirits, I used Evergaol, Lootle, and the Green Demons, and for my side spirits, I used the Godrick Soldier Ashes and the Wolves. One buff spell I forgot to mention was the Golden Vow Ash of War, which raises my summon's defense. I didn't use this that much because it was pretty hard to get off mid-boss fight. Now, straight out of the Godrick fight, jumping into Liurnia, a few big things change. First of all, I can finally upgrade my spirits. This is because Rodrika, the spirit upgrader, decides to go to the Round Table Hold as soon as you get in Liurnia. And secondly, I found this. Anyway, I kept exploring Liurnia until I decided to visit the Loretta Tower. I climbed all the way to the top and had the balls to take her on with Lootle. This fight went nothing above terrible, so I went out and geared up some more. One place to get tons of upgrade materials was actually in Caseoh River. From weird meat to shiny flowers, I collected it all. I even lit all the pillars and thought the deer might be a little easier. This deer had me regret living. Before this fight, I had my summon up to +5 and he still got torched by some of the attacks. I admit this fight took over an hour to beat and I only won because I got lucky. In the end, the deer just stopped attacking my summon for some reason. I think this is because Lootel's amazing ability to teleport away anytime there's danger. I guess that's like natural selection or something. After the deer fight, I wanted to upgrade my healing spells for my summon, so I went and got the 2 Fingers heirloom and bought the Blessings Boon spell from the Turtle Pope. With this, my summon could get 8 HP per second for 90 seconds, so I wouldn't have to rely on my healing too much. Maybe now I can beat Loretta.
You are made of stupid.
You know what? This went way better than I thought. With the Blessings Boon spell, Lootel just stayed alive and kept putting on damage. At one point, I thought I was gonna die before my summon did, which would be pretty embarrassing, but you know what? We got her. You know what's crazy when my reward for beating Loretta is a talk with a 4'8" guy. But I guess he has some good summons down the line, so I'll keep him alive. Entering Rhea Lucaria, apparently Carrion Knights can fly now. And if you're wondering what happened to Red Wolf, and now I made it to the toughest fight of my life. In the first phase, I can't attack Renala, but I can definitely attack her children. The only problem was getting my summon to attack her when she's down. So my strategy to fix this was just using more summons per one cast, so I used the demi-humans because there's 6 of them. It turns out that the idea was great, but the outcome just didn't work. The demi-humans were incredibly weak even in this first phase, and I didn't have the resources to upgrade them. So instead, what if I just force my summon to attack? By using the Cursed Blood Pot and throwing it at Renala, my summon instantly snapped into action. And with a little luck, this led me to the second phase. And it was rough, with multiple giants and dogs coming after me and fireworks coming out of Renala's wand. I didn't know if I could do it. Sometimes it was just a skill issue, but others my summon completely let me down. And then, after countless of attempts, this happened.
My fate lieth under my moon.
Yeah, that's right, I completely beat Renala and there's no way she's still alive. Anyway, in this stage, for my main spirit I used Lootel, and for my side spirits I used the giant balls of snakes and the monkeys. Some of the buffs I used were the Golden Vow Ash of War, the Blessings Boon spell, and the Cursed Blood Pot. Since Renala is totally not alive anymore, I entered Kalit as the third area to get stronger. On the surface, there's actually not that much here to help me except for these cool flowers. So I did what anybody else would do and charged straight into Radahhn's castle. I nearly died to the security here, which would be terrible because the run back is so far, but eventually I made it to the Grace. And right after is an impossible fight for 99.9% of summons. Just seeing the Crucible Knight here is already a nightmare, but this hairy dude just amplifies it. And you guessed it, I died immediately. So instead I got the 2 medallions, teleported to Altus and sat at a Grace, and then teleported back to Radahnn's castle to make it party mode. So now I could challenge Radahhn, which is the hardest part of this whole thing. First of all, I can't even summon my own summons in here. Although I can summon these other guys who range from amazing to leave the game. In all, my attempts with the summons didn't work at first, so I tried a different strategy. So this time, I decided to climb up a wall by his boss fight to try and outmaneuver him. It turns out he also has the ability to climb, which is weird because he is a 1,000-pound guy sitting on a starved horse. Well, what about water? Because there's no way his horse can swim. Okay, I guess I'll try using summons again, but this time I'll heal them so they cannot die. And you know what? This actually worked. I found great places to heal, and it turns out my helpers can be summoned infinitely. Near the end of the fight, I just ran away, and my helpers eventually finished him. Fortunately, this is not the end due to this star, which opens up Nokron. Now this is where the best summons are. I picked up Larval Tears, Flower Balls, and even the Great Shield Soldier Ashes. There's also a good amount of upgrade flowers here already, ranging from 3, 4, and 5. But to get into real Nokron, I defeated the Mimic Tier, and now I can access the people of the Deer Cult. First, I lit all the pillars even though I couldn't defeat the big deer yet, and then I went to the city of Nokron. In here, I picked up the Mimic Tier, but more importantly, I got the Fingerslayer Blade. With this, I can progress Ronnie's questline to move further underground. So, I gave her the blade, broke into Rena's Rise, found a cool hat, and took the portal to Angel Rivermain. This is around the deepest you can go in the game, and the deeper you go, the better the upgrade materials get. So, I just kept going deeper, and deeper, and deeper.
The fuck you say to me, you little shit?
Beautifully fought.
After that, I made it to the Rot Lake, nearly got cancer crossing it, and hopped in this coffin. It's crazy that this is one of the safer things you can do in this game. You know where we are, it's giant scorpion time. For this fight, I used the Mimic Tier and Knight Armor with a +9 Bloodhound's Fang. With all the buffs and steroids I gave him, I swear he should have been invincible. But when this space creature has these kind of moves, And remember, I only have access to 2 basic healing spells, which just isn't enough. So to buff up a little more, I went and got Godrick's Great Rune for health in the Silver Tier Mask for +9 arcane to maybe get a bleed proc off. And you know what? Combined with some insane mimic dodging and RNG, this worked. By the end, my mimic popped off, and I'm pretty sure he regenerated over 2000 health using the Blessing's Boon spell. After defeating Estelle, I walked up the rock area, took the elevator up, and landed on the moon. Up here, there's actually not that much to do apart from marrying a dead body and challenging the hardest Evergaol in this game. I can't explain to you how hard this guy is. As my character, I've never met this guy in my life, yet every hit still felt like a personal attack. I'm not going to go over exactly how I won, but the multiple hours spent was worth it. So, at the end of this stage, for my main summons, I used the Mimic tier, and I just picked up Black Knife Tiche. Also, for my side summons, I used a bit of Lutel and those cool flowers. In this stage, I didn't use any new buffs, but I completely forgot about the Commander Standard. So, if you're ever trying this, make sure to pick that up, because it is so good. Boy oh boy, Tiche, when you came into the game, I knew you were something special. If anyone doesn't know, Black Knife Tiche murders Mimic tier in terms of stats. And just to prove it to you, she defeated Draconic Tree Sentinel all by herself. This is one of those situations where the glazing is needed, and she leaves right after without saying a word, so cold. To fix the healing problem from before, I picked up Great Heal from the Corn Man, which is a little bit better than the normal one. And after that, I just dove straight into the capital. Even though I just defeated Caelid and got access to 3 more new areas, there's actually not that much here. Although it does have a ton of spells like the Lord's Heal from the Two Fingers Prayer-book. And apart from that, there's nothing else I could do but challenge Golden Godfrey. For this fight, I used the Great Shield Soldiers because they can block 99% of the physical damage. After casting Blessing's Boon, I honestly could have watched them drain his health. This fight actually took so long, and I don't know what stamina meds Godfrey's on, but I need him. In the end, it was just a long battle where I watched from the sidelines and still got all of the rewards. Godfrey down. Before heading into Morgoth, I made sure to grab Blessing of the Erd Tree, a direct upgrade to Blessing's Boon. Thankfully for this fight, you can summon Melina to help, and with Black Knife Tiche, it was about to be a bloodbath. In bloodbath it was. Since Melina was already playing the half healer class, it made Tiche practically invincible. In the second phase, I thought we might have some more trouble, but no, neither of their health dipped below 50%. Honestly, this might be the easiest Morgoth fight I've ever seen. Melina planted trees, and Tiche delivered death. In this stage, for my main summons, I use the best spirit in the game, Black Knife Tiche, and for my side summons, I use the Great Shield Soldier Ashes. Some new heals and buffs I used were the Blessing of the Erd Tree and the Lord's Heal. This stage was pretty short, but now we have all the way up to Malekith to get stronger. First, I ran out the back door of the capital, where I eventually made it to the snow area, and my game crashed. I don't know if that happens to anybody else, but in that specific spot it happens. Anyway, I kept pushing further and traveled all the way down to Big Boy Neil's castle. In here, I got murdered by ghosts, but when I eventually reached Neil, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought. First of all, he only targets me. Bro does not care about my summon. Also, for the non-boss guys at the start, I just killed them. Now, the hard part of this fight was keeping Tiche away from the attacks he was attacking me with. So, all I had to do was not get hit and let Tiche stack on death. For my reward, I picked up half of the secret medallion on the roof, and then I instantly went and got the other one. With these two, I now had access to the consecrated snowfield. I only needed 2 items here. First, I got the full Black Knife set to match Tiche, and second, I got this melatonin torch for later. The next thing I did was a little different. I completed Alexander's questline to the point he can help me for Fire Giant. Oh yeah, the Fire Giant. I'm gonna be honest, at first, I thought this was gonna be impossible. Not only does he have 80,000 health, but half the time they can't even hit his weak foot. Although one thing I discovered is that my summons are just way too strong. Like, there's no way I should be winning right now. And another thing that's crazy is you see this and this. Why is he not transformed yet? He eventually did transform and lose another big portion of his health, but I still don't know why he did this. After that, it was just too easy. Fire Giant down. After that, I burned a random tree down and got teleported to modern day Ohio. In here, I avoided everything and finally made it to Godskin Duo. Remember the melatonin torch I was talking about? Well, it can actually put things to sleep.
Really, nigga?
For this fight, I actually thought it was going to be super easy. You get Bernal, the strongest summon in the game, and I can summon Tiche. Well, it turns out that the Godskin have 1,000,000 health and so much damage, so we got murdered. Here's the strategy. First, I would summon Bernal and get into the boss fight as fast as I can to sleep the big guy. Then, I summon Tiche as fast as possible, and we could all execute Slim before big guy wakes up. After that, Big Guy would usually summon Slim back into the fight, so I had to put Big Guy to sleep again. Since Big Guy is asleep 95% of the fight, we only fight him during the end. In a few deaths and summonings later, with the help of Sleep and Bernal, we got him. After that, I took a short 2-hour trip down to Volcano Manor to get as strong as possible for Malekith. This included killing Godskin Noble and arriving at Rykard, another boss which I thought was impossible. It turns out that upgrading the spear a few times and throwing insanely heavy armor on can easily beat this guy. I mean, it may have looked close, but it really wasn't. Not only did I get a billion runes, but beating Rykar progresses Bernal's questline to the point he drops the Blasphemous Claw. With this, I could block some of Malekith's super high damage attacks. I also realized for this fight and forward, Tiche was completely out of her league. First of all, she's super hard to heal because she jumps around all the time, and her Black Flame attack doesn't really affect on second phase Malekith. On the other hand, Mimic Tear can't last 5 seconds alone with this guy, and ever since that devastating nerf, he's turned into a teddy bear. So, as a last ditch effort, I summoned someone nobody could beat. Is that who I think it is? Yeah, trying to help one of these Akatsuki sorcerers is trying to stop a meteor from hitting Earth. I think they know what they're doing. In this stage, for my main spirits, I summon these guys, and for my side spirits, I use the Mimic Tear and Tiche. After getting in, I immediately picked up the Erdtree heal, which is the strongest heal in the game. And it's not just strong, this heal is 2 times stronger than any other heal. Anyway, on my first attempt of Godfrey, my Mimic was 1 hit away from beating him. Although, every attempt after that just went downhill, so I went back underground and got some stuff. I think this is what getting aggressive looks like. Okay, it turns out that the Greatsword was noticeably worse, even though it was 10 times cooler. But right after that, I switched back to the Bloodhound's Fang for 1 round and I beat him. I hate this game. Heading into the final bosses, Radahhn and Elden Beast, I already knew it was impossible. Pre-Mimic nerf, he could have shred these guys, but now, as I said, he is a teddy bear. So I think you know what I have to do.